I tell you, Brett, it was a little bit after 9 o'clock. I received a text from one of my sources that says, "That's him," meaning they had him surrounded, because I immediately called the source and he told me that they had Boelter surrounded in a wooded area and said it was just going to be a matter of minutes before they apprehended him. And of course, that was the case. Then I talked with a second source who said the same thing, that Boelter was taken into custody. He was taken into custody peacefully. My colleague Tom Hauser was also working his sources. He was hearing the same thing. This was all about a little over an hour ago. We started hearing words that they were moving in on him and about to make an arrest. And then one of my sources that's very close to the investigation gave me some details about how it all came down. He told me that there was a trail cam perched in the woods. One of the neighbors in the area just southeast of Green Isle, which is where Boelter lives. That's where his home is. And that neighbor, very alert, sees him on the trail cam, contacts authorities. Within minutes, authorities are there with, I'm told, SWAT teams and drones. The SWAT teams had him surrounded, and I was told he was able to avoid and evade those SWAT teams for about an hour. But I was told the drones had an eye on him. They never really lost sight of him, knew where he was the whole time. And one of my sources said that he seemed tired, maybe exhausted from being on the run, and actually came out of the woods with his arms up, raised his arms up and surrendered peacefully. Neither one of my sources had any information about whether he was armed at the time, and they didn't know if he was right now in federal custody or in local custody, but one thing is certain, he is in custody tonight after a 2-day search. Now, I was also told by my sources that the reason they focused on that area in Sibley down by his home in Green Isle today was because he had left that, cowboy hat, the infamous cowboy hat that was seen in some photos. That hat was found alongside a road down there near Green Isle, as well as his car. And my sources told me that they believed, investigators were working on the theory, that he was kind of leaving breadcrumbs, if you will. He was sending a message with some intent that, "I'm here, come find me." So that's why they focused on that area so intently today. And then I think there was some frustration because, they didn't find him just right away. And they had the 5:30 news conference, and the BCA Superintendent Drew Evans mentioned that there was now a nationwide warrant out for his arrest. And but they kept asking for the public's help, and in the end, it sounds like it was the public that helped. It was on a trail cam that alerted authorities to come in and make the arrest, guys. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay, thank you for that.
We want to go now to Green Isle. Outside of Vance Boelter's house is Eric Shalou, who just arrived at the scene. Eric, what are you seeing?
Well, when I first arrived here, Kirsten, there were a lot of law enforcement vehicles here at the family's property. It's about a football field away down this driveway. Right now, very dark stretch of country here in Sibley County. You can see the lights onto the home. I talked to a neighbor a short time ago who told me you just take this county road about a mile behind the home. And so I did, and that's where I saw law enforcement leaving the scene, that field area where Jay was reporting and Tom Hauser's been reporting, where the suspect was found about 9 o'clock this evening here. A lot of lights on and the few properties that are around here. This has been on everyone's mind since this unimaginable crimes took place yesterday morning, that manhunt going on. A lot of law enforcement. We saw a lot of the SWAT team vehicles here as well leaving the scene. Again, they have been out here for most of the day into yesterday as well, searching this area near the family's property. But again, this scene appears to be about a mile or so from the family property that way. That is where I saw all of those law enforcement vehicles leaving just within the last 15 to 20 minutes. I was looking out there. There's a lot of farm fields out there. Very dark out there. As you heard from our reporting, that law enforcement using the State Patrol chopper to help them locate the suspect there in that field. But as I mentioned, a lot of lights on them. The folks here talked to one neighbor who had heard the news that his neighbor had been located by law enforcement. That arrest being made here, it's definitely been on everyone's mind, not only in this community here in Sibley County, but also across the entire state of Minnesota. After a longtime lawmaker shot and killed in her home, her husband killed, and also a state senator up in Champlain shot, recovering at the hospital. His wife also shot multiple times. Folks here taking a breath now, getting word that indeed their neighbor, that suspect that law enforcement have been looking for, Vance Boelter, has been located and arrested again. A very busy scene a little more than an hour ago when law enforcement found him in that field and then made that arrest. We're going to stay here, try to talk to some of the folks in the neighborhood, get their reaction to this, and then learn a little bit more about those final moments of freedom before Boelter was caught earlier this evening. But that's the very latest here outside the Boelter property in Sibley County. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Eric, can you hear me? I just had one follow-up. You did say you spoke to one neighbor. Did you sense a sense of relief in his or her voice?
I think so, Brett. I think everybody in this community and across the state of Minnesota has just been keeping an eye on their phone, keeping an eye out to see if indeed they had found that suspect. And again, we're going to go talk to him in a little bit. When I first arrived here at the scene, I wanted to find out exactly where that arrest was made, so I took off right there. I see his lights still on. I'm going to go try and catch up with him now and get a little bit more on his reaction. But I think it's fair to say a sigh of relief for everybody in this community.
For sure. All right, Eric, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. And just the intense law enforcement presence there, as he was saying, it puts a lot of people at ease when law enforcement, I think, are in the area, and also when they're leaving, because we know that the job is done.
Well, you know him for his sports reports, but we want to bring in Chris Long. He's helping us out with our news reports tonight. He is live in Blaine, where we're going to get an update from officials here very shortly. Chris, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we also up here to the state of Minnesota's Emergency Operations Center in Blaine. Governor Walz expected to speak here along with some law enforcement officials from the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and the Department of Public Safety. This will be the first time Governor Walz has spoken since yesterday. As the story was